So today's video was actually a request from the comment section. So if you have a request for me to review a book or talk about a book, please comment it down below. I had brought up Uprising in Pakistan by Tariq Ali in one of my TBRs, and someone requested I make a video about it because usually I don't make non-fiction videos. But let's talk about this book. So as someone with one Pakistani parent, this was an extremely interesting read for me because I wanted to learn about politics in Pakistan. I've read a few books on it. One of the big ones I read was about the Bhutto family, and that was very Bhutto-centric, so there wasn't a lot of the stuff that happened around the Bhuttos or alongside them at this point. So when I was in, I believe, Houseman's, I got this book from. Don't quote me on that, but I believe I picked this up from Houseman, so I mentioned in a video recently. This book was there, and I picked it up. And it is Tariq Ali, who is a Pakistani intellect, writing about the 1968 revolution, or uprising, at least the uprising in Pakistan. I think about a year or two later. This is maybe the third or fourth division of this book, so this version might be slightly later. But the book really is giving you a good breakdown of the lead up to the uprising, what happened during the uprising, and then also Tariq Ali goes into discussing some of his suggestions for a permanent socialist revolution in Pakistan. Obviously, this book is looking at it from a very left-wing take, a pro-proletariat take of the book, which I won't get into my own personal feelings about. In the long and short, I am pro-working class. That's the take you should take away from listening to this book review. Listen to this book review. So, what do I think of it? Well, again, it's a non-fiction take, and it's a bit harder to give a take on a non-fiction book. But I thought it was extremely informative. It gave you a very breakdown through and through of the events leading up to and the events during the uprising. This is the kind of stuff I would have loved to ask my father about, but he probably would have been a little bit too young, and also where he grew up in Pakistan isn't really the hub of where the uprisings were taking place. But he was also a child at this point, so he probably wouldn't be able to tell me about these. But that's what made this extra fascinating for me to read. And quite honestly, I did find the final section of the book, which is the chapter is Pakistan and the Permanent Revolution, which was points put forward by Tariq Ali and others about how Pakistanis could raise the question of a permanent pro-proletariat revolution, because obviously at the time Pakistan's economy and the proletariat aspect of Pakistan's economy was very similar to the 1917 proletariat in Russia than Soviet Union in the 68. So it was very much similar to, say, there were a lot of miners, there was a very agrarian economy still, there was a lot of farmers. Obviously Pakistan did have the nuance of being almost divided into different ethnic groups within the country, which was like this question of a national identity was something that was brought up. I think it's a very interesting read, especially if you are, like me, part of the Pakistani diaspora, but personally I don't know a lot about Pakistan's political history because obviously it's not something we're taught. And then when oftentimes we look back at South Asia, we do look a lot at India, because obviously India is huge and it's a massive chunk of South Asia's landmass, and also being half Indian, I am also very interested in that. So it is helpful if you're Pakistani diaspora and you want to learn about this uprising, and again, if you don't have someone who you can ask firsthand, because 1968 isn't actually that long ago. There will be plenty of people who had first-hand experience viewing this either as the students in the uprising, as the pro-proletariat faction, or as, maybe you related to someone who was, pro the dictatorship at that time. Who knows? But I think that's the key to this. I think, again, it's going to be a very left-wing take on what happened. Probably a take that I probably more so side with. But if you want a accurate, at least what I can tell, an accurate breakdown of what happened and a lot of sources are provided, whether it be newspaper articles or pieces written by people at the time. So, you know, it is well sourced. It's not, you know, I'm not going to fault it completely academically. Again, I can't really do that myself. But if you are interested in Pakistani history, I would definitely pick this up. And also, if you're going to pick this up, I would also recommend the Bhutto Diaries. That is written by a guy who knew the Bhuttos. So there is maybe some conflict of interest there. But that was an interesting listen. I think I listened to that on an audiobook. So that one was also interesting. So maybe I will read something more from the other aspect of Pakistani society. But Pakistani politics is still something I am slowly learning about and trying to wrap my head around. So yeah, this was a nice start for me. Tariq Ali's Uprising in Pakistan, about the 1968 uprising. So with that, as I said at the beginning, please comment down below some books you want me to check out and read, particularly obviously by Asian and African authors. I am making videos in bulk ahead of me going away, so if you do leave a suggestion down below, I'm not going to ignore you. It's just I might not make a video about that book for a good 3 or 4 weeks instead of maybe like this where I made it the week I got the suggestion. But please do leave them down below. There's going to be links to the books that I mentioned down below as well in the description. And hey, remember to like, subscribe, share this video with a friend or family member, and I hope you read a great